So behind me on the floor here is my engine in bits. Now, I'll go through the things I've found on this in a moment. Let's start with the heads. I've got one of the heads over here that I was cleaning. So this doesn't look too bad. This has all been pressure washed, ready for skimming. And on top, there's nothing really of note. The paint's come out quite good, so almost a shame to repaint it. But if I tip that on its side, so you can see just how carboned up these are. And one of the valve, I think it was this valve seat here, this is one of the exhaust valves. I don't know if you can see in the video, it should be shiny all the way around to show that the valve is seating, and this side around here isn't, or hasn't been, and same with this one here. In fact, it's just not as shiny as the rest of them. That's not too big a problem as long as the valve's not bent, because the when I lap the valves in, that should resolve that. Depending on the cost of the valves, I might just replace them all anyway. While I'm in there, while I'm doing all that. I mean, the valves themselves, again, they're pretty coked up, but there's nothing majorly wrong. So that I'm pretty happy with. That head is pretty much the same as the other one. Nothing really seriously obvious wrong with it. It's a lot of carbon. Camshaft, I think I covered in a previous video. That is just not the nicest. See, there's some shiny bits and parts of it that are a bit corroded. That lobe in particular there as well. So you can see they're just, it's not worth putting that back in. So another camshaft will be on order. Crankshaft, it's very hard to show in the video, but you can feel that quite badly with your nail. Now if it was in the middle here, I wouldn't be too bothered, because that's not where the conrod bearings are running on, but hopefully you can hear that. Compare it to, in fact that one's just as bad. So crankshaft, I've had a bit of trouble sourcing. I have sourced one in America, but I have also found someone who can regrind this one, and I can get from Rock Auto, I can get some oversized bearings. So that's what we're going to try first. We're going to send that away next week. With the heads can be skimmed, and the crankshaft will be ground down. Hopefully he doesn't have to take too much off, that I can get oversized bearings. The actual crankshaft bearings, that one's not great. The actual crankshaft itself doesn't look too bad there. So, I mean, that's what the bearings are for. The bearings are softer than the crankshaft or the block. So the idea is the bearings take all the brunt. And again, you can see this is the corresponding one to that. Doesn't look as bad, but you can just make out a little bit of discoloring there. Liners, not really liners, but the bores, that's probably more. You can sort of see in the light there, a little bit scored, not too bad. We will be honing those. That'll be the next video on this engine. I've got a honing tool. You can see a bit better. So they don't look too bad. Don't worry too much about this dirt that's got in there. That'll all be cleaned out. That's just because I'm not exactly in the cleanest environment here, but we'll be moving it all to the workbench. But yeah, there's nothing horrendous. I haven't even cleaned the decks yet. Yeah, all in all, crankshaft was the biggest surprise. Pistons, I might as well show you them as well while we're here. Again, the bearings, a lot of the bearings have got quite a bit of discolouring in the middle there. But again, they'll be replaced. Nothing particularly wrong. Pistons look good. They need a good clean up. You can see I've cleaned bits so I can, just in case they go out of order, just so I can know which one they go in. They can go back in the same Same board, they all, like I said, need a good cleanup. I'll replace the piston rings, which again, don't look too bad. I was expecting the piston rings to be a lot worse. So all in all, pretty happy with what I found. And I think minus the crankshaft and the actual parts that I need to order come to about $500 from Rock Auto, about $100 on top of that for delivery, which with current exchange rate is only about £400. So I should be able to get the whole engine rebuilt, hopefully running well, and back in the car for about £400. I've been given some oil for it, so I don't need to pay for that. I do need to look at the gearbox still. Gearbox I haven't done anything with yet. You can see it there, sitting on the front cross member. And I might have a look, see what I can get for it, because even after changing the filter and the sump gasket, it was still leaking. So I do need to do something with it. So I'm just going to take it out, pull it apart again, see if there's anything obvious. Maybe the gasket hasn't seated properly, maybe the pan's got a dent or something in it. Yeah, we'll see when we get to that. Speaking of pans, the engine sump. So I'm replacing the pump, and yes, I know that's not in the right place. It goes on there. But I am replacing the pump, oil pump, because well, it doesn't look horrific. I did have to clean the strainer out previously, and yeah, that wasn't the easiest thing to do, but it's still. Again, while we're here, it's part of the issue is oil. The oil light was coming on, so at idle when it was hot, so replacing the pump is just a matter of course. You can see the amount of crud under the baffle and in the baffle. That's not going to help. That's probably because that's where the oil pump sits, and that's not going to have helped it at all. So yeah, I think I'm quite looking forward to putting this thing back together. If you're in England and don't know anything about American V8s, a bit like me, I don't know much about them. What I do know is that they are pretty much indestructible. The only thing really that seems to blow them up is excess nitrous, or excess power. They are pretty bulletproof. More so the Chevy V8. I have been looking at Chevy V8s. I did find a couple. I say within budget. I don't really have a budget. It's still going to be cheaper to rebuild this thing. This week is Hot Rod Drag Week, and I've always wanted to I've been planning for years to take my midget to Hot Rod Drag Week. I think that would be really cool because by a long shot it would be the smallest thing there. And I'm now thinking maybe I should take this. It's going to be a huge cost to get either of these things out there. So if I'm going to do I do it with something American or do I do it with something small and British? Maybe I should fly the British flag. Don't know, let me know in the comments. It'll be a few years away yet, but something I can start thinking about. But this is an update on the Pontiac engine. There'll be another one soon. See you then.